set?
No,
Not yet.
not bad.
Ready? All right. Questions for Coach?
Have you recovered from that game yet, Coach?
Oh yeah, I mean you don't have much time to celebrate anything. You got a tough team on the road this week. I mean, it was a good win for us. Fortunate to win it, but we won it. And you go and look at the tape. We looked at the tape, obviously, as a coaching staff on Saturday, and then brought the players in and looked at it, corrected the mistakes, and right after that, we're starting to get ready for Illinois. So it was a good win, but we're facing a football team that's awfully talented in Illinois. I mean, they've been building that thing for quite a while. They've got a lot of good athletes, probably faster, more athletic than most teams in that league. So first game on the road, we'll find out what we're all about. So I mean, you can't rest. So we're just anxious to go play again.
Can you get a good read off them then off those first two opponents that they play?
I'm sorry?
Can you get a good read on Illinois off those first two opponents they play?
It's hard. I mean, you can see what they do offensively and defensively in their schemes and all that stuff. But Arkansas State probably is a little bit better for us because they do a lot of the same things that we do as opposed to South Dakota State. But you look back at tape from a year ago, I mean, it was the same coordinators. We've studied them all summer, so I mean, we have a pretty good idea what they're doing. Paul Petrino is the offensive coordinator, and from the Petrino group, Montana group, and you know, they're very similar to Arkansas, actually, in a lot of ways offensively. So, and then defensively, they changed things up, and Vic Koenig is their defensive coordinator, was head coach at Wyoming for a while, and they got an outstanding staff. So, and they've done a nice job. So yeah, you have an idea what they're going to do. Now it's a matter of just getting prepared.
Come out of that all right, injury-wise?
Pretty much. Darius again is still out. I don't know that he'll be able to play. Devon Coleman sprained his ankle in that game, but he should be able to play. I don't know that he'll practice tomorrow, but he should be able to play. Other than that, we came out of it pretty healthy.
Do you think going on the road to Wisconsin last year helps your players at all? Big Ten country?
Yeah, I mean it did. We lost a game, but I mean, you know, traveling on the road, it's different every year. You travel probably better when you've got some veteran leadership like we do, as far as focus and attention when you get on the road, and understand why we're going. We're going to play a football game. When you have a lot of young guys, sometimes they have a little trouble figuring that out. They get on an airplane and get on the road for the first time. But this is a pretty good group of veteran players, so we'll be focused and ready to go. We'll leave on Thursday, a day early, and we'll go back there, which I like that. It gives us a chance to be together as a group for a couple days. And I think we get in there Thursday night late and work out there and spend some time together. And so that's a good way to travel right now for us.
Dennis, is there a danger of having to let down after such an emotional win over a ranked opponent? If so, what do you do?
We're going to have to play our rear end just to win the game. I mean, if we play with let down, we're not going to win. I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. That's where leadership comes into play. When you come off a win, it's a lot easier playing a game than when you come off a loss. I don't care what anybody says. So, but yeah, I mean, we won 2 football games. We got 10 games left. I mean, we just got to take them one at a time. I mean, not one game's not a heck of a lot easier than other games. I mean, obviously when you get into the league, things change a little bit. But yeah, that's a good football team, and they're kind of in the same situation that we're in. You know, you look at them a year ago. I think they were 6-6, went to a bowl game. But Ron feels like they got a team that can compete for the championship there. So, I mean, they're kind of in a similar situation that we're in. And if you watch them on tape and the returners that they got, they're very talented. So I mean, we got our hands full, and our players are there.
What kind of stuff do they do offensively that might give you some?
Well, they're really a formation changing team. They do a lot of different things. I mean, that's the issue. I mean, they'll run the read zone stuff. They'll be in 4 wides. They'll get 2 tight ends and do some different things. They'll be in the shotgun. They'll be underneath the center. So they're a variation of formations, and they do a lot of different things. Like I say, they'll get in the eye and run the football, and they'll get in four wides and run the spread stuff. So they got an extremely good quarterback, very, very athletic. Came in, I believe, third or fourth game last year and led him to a lot of victories. He's very, very talented, got a lot of leadership, very competitive, moves around a lot. Not quite as big as Franklin as far as height and weight, but he's very, very athletic and makes a lot of things happen.
So I think you saw from Brock Friday.
I'm sorry?
Brock, how do you grade out it? You saw him on tape.
Dan, he played good. I mean, it's the thing that Brock's brought to us on the field as a player, besides leadership and all that, he's been very accurate, more mobile than most people think. Made some plays with his legs, and he understands what's going on. He hasn't made a lot of bad decisions out on the field as far as where to go with the football. Understands what's going on as far as where to go with the football. And he's been very accurate. He's made some very accurate throws, and you can look at last week. I mean, like in overtime, that throw that he made to Flew to get that first down, that was a heck of a throw. I mean, that was right on the money. Flew made a great play, but that guy was covering him pretty well. So he's played very well. Again, as he gets into it, as the competition continues to get better and better. Now it's his first time on the road. Well, I take that back. He played against Oregon a couple years ago, which is always an experience. But this first time really as a starter on the road, and so that'll be interesting to see. I mean, now all of a sudden you're going to be in a stadium that's noisy. Now all of a sudden the signals are going to change a little bit, audibilizing, all the different things that he has to do. One good thing about our offense is a lot of things we do happen at the snap. So it's not like we ask him to come up and audibilize every play, which is very difficult in a stadium like that. But the thing that we do have to do is silent count with our front, and we've worked on that quite a bit. We'll spend a lot of time on that this week. So, but in the first two games, he's played very well for us.
Now that you've had a chance to see your defense without Omar and Brandon and some of these guys, what do you think about where they're at?
Oh, we got a lot of improvement to make. I mean, we tackled very poorly in that football game the other night. There's no question about it. That's obvious if you watched it. Normally we don't tackle like that. We've tackled very well in camp, tackled very well in the spring, so we'll tackle better in this football game. But to me, that's probably the biggest thing that jumped out at us. Making tackles in open field. We're going to have to against these guys. We're rallying in the football. Again, it wasn't our best football game defensively by any means, but we made a stop when we had to, and reacted in overtime like we needed to. But we got to get better on both sides of the football. I mean, and really our kicking game was pretty good, but we get the blocked extra point, which had nothing to do with protection. He just kicked it really low, and for whatever reason. So it got tipped. But Jamal made a lot of great plays, as we talked about before. But the muff was a little bit costly. But I mean, how do you react to turnovers as a football team? I mean, how you react is what it's all about. So we need to react better. But we will. We'll play a bit better in all aspects.
The tackle, why do you think it was so bad if it hadn't been an issue?
I don't know. That's a good question. If I had that question, we wouldn't have tackled that. If I had the answer to that question, maybe out of control, maybe trying to hit. I don't know. We weren't in control enough to make the tackles and get enough people there. So I really don't have an answer other than we're better than that. We just got to be under control, get people in football. That's what tackling is all about. You got to play team defense, get a lot of people there.
And it's in baseball, a lot of times they talk about a pitcher who's able to win a ball game when he doesn't have his best stuff. And I'm wondering, did you learn anything about your team to be able to win a game when you had those peaks and valleys, those emotional roller coaster rides during that game?
It showed that we found a way to win. And to me, that's what it's all about. We've lost games like that before. We won this game. And to get things done is a key to good football teams, and we were able to do that. We found a way to get it done. Found a way to get it into overtime to win the football game is the bottom line. You gotta give them credit. I mean, they came back and did some good things. We gave them opportunities. They took advantage of the opportunities. They missed a field goal. We take it in. They're 4-0. We win the game. So I mean, we can all say what we want, but the bottom line is that we're 2-0, and now we go over the third game.
Yes, we talked about throughout camp, but what has he done to position himself to where he is right now?
Well, besides being a maniac workout guy, I mean, football is so important to him, and there's a lot to be said for that. Being raised in the situation that he was as a coach's son, but football is so important to him that everything he does in his life is to become a great football player, and so he's worked very hard to get where he's at. Obviously, physically and stature and all that stuff, he's not what probably you see a lot, but I mean, he's a guy he's a playmaker, and he's worked very hard to be like he is. But he's been a good player ever since he played. I mean, a lot of people, I remember when he was coming out of high school, wasn't very heavily recruited. We were recruiting when I was at Idaho, and then of course Oregon came in and recruited him. But we're fortunate to have him. But he's a good football player. The thing about Flu, he doesn't get caught up about himself. I mean, he's into us as a football team, which is very refreshing nowadays.
You guys felt pretty good about what you were doing discipline-wise, at least leading up to this. How disappointing was it to take a step back as far as that goes?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had 4 in a game that didn't make any difference, and a lot of times penalties are kind of how the game's played. They had 11, we had 12, and there were a lot of penalties in that football game. And you know, whether the closeness of how it was called. I mean, as I look at our penalties, we had 2 on special teams holding, and we had 4 pass interference or defensive holding calls, which, you know, a lot of times they're good judgment calls, and it depends on how you call it. So, were there too many? Yeah, heck yeah, there were too many. We don't want that many, but and just because they had 11 doesn't make it any better. But I mean, sometimes you have to look at the game and see how they call it, and some people call it defensive holding a little different than others, and so forth. We had 1 offensive holding penalty, which, you know, those things happen in the game. But we had some critical ones, you know, in critical situations in the secondary.
I guess the kind of satisfaction for the penalty that didn't happen when Coach Spiegel tried to go ahead and draw the defense offsides twice. I mean,
What's that?
Well, in the field goal,
Right.
I mean, the reason we called the 2 timeouts is because we wanted to draw the defense from naming Montez offsides. I mean, what were your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, Montez has been coming up the middle on every one of those kicks that they have, and you know, his timing's pretty good. He was going in and out, and I think Gary felt like they could draw him off and you know, get an extra 5 to kick it, and obviously he didn't come offside. So I mean, the strategy was right; it just didn't work.
But I guess that's the discipline that maybe was lacking, I guess, earlier in the game, really coming crucial.
Yeah, you know, everybody calls that discipline, and I agree to a point, but sometimes you're covering a guy and your technique fails a little bit, or you know, grab a guy or whatever. But the offside things and things like that, yeah, are probably more discipline and technique things. And yeah, they tried to draw him offside, and he hung in there pretty well. Didn't come out.
You have the way Colin Parker played?
Yeah, Colin played outstanding. I mean, he's become a leader out there. He's really done a good job as far as getting people lined up, being a leader on defense, and he made a heck of a lot of plays. I mean, he really did. I mean, if you go through the tape and look at it, I mean, he really played well.
That it?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.